Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviriyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect both teacher and the student. May He nourish us together. May we work together with great energy. May our studies be enlightening. May there be no hate among us. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you. All right, so many are still sleeping or not awakened, not joined yet. Since there are only 4 of you, let's talk on something that you have to clarify. Something that you like to share. There is a subject that I was hoping to speak about is Kundalini Yoga. We have not done yet, and we have not spoken fully, is about the other and most advanced form of yoga called Kundalini Yoga. I wonder if we should talk about it now, or should we speak on the time when there are other more people involved and they get benefit of knowing it. But that's something that I like to share. This is known as the yoga or Kriya Yoga or Kundalini Yoga, which is not recommended to practice on its own. One should do it only under the guidance of a true master. And it is most considered to be very dangerous and most potential. But because it is very potential, it is also very dangerous if it is not practiced in a right manner. So that is something that, and it is interlinked with the certain asanas and the pranayama that we have been doing, especially bandhas. So I keep it open for all of you to comment if you like to speak about this, or shall we just have an open house and clarify certain doubts or questions that you have and do some kind of long meditation today.
Acharya, if there are no questions coming up, then this is a recording session anyway. So if you can continue with your discourse, I mean, I'm sure people interested will catch up. It's your call.
Okay. I know that all sessions are being recorded. Thank you for doing that, Aditi and Kapilji. But I also noticed that the recorded videos are not viewed by more than 2 people. So which indicates that people still do not find time to even review or watch the recorded videos. Other than that, the benefit of being live on the session is to get the instant response and also clarification if there is. So fair enough, I can speak about what I know about Kundalini Yoga. As I said, the first and most important is that it must not be done unless you are 100% sure and you are ready to do it. When I say one of us or all of us have to prepare ourselves to take up the practice of Kundalini Yoga. Do we really need it? Do we really want it? As I said, the Kundalini is it's a dormant energy within us, within our subtle body. Now, we have, as we all know, the life force, the energy that we need to remain active physically and mentally. That energy is through our breathing, through the prana. Now, out of, let's say, 20% of total energy that we possess is required to keep us active physically, mentally, and overall wellness of our physical and mental body. Just about 20% of the total energy is required for that. And with that 20%, we can live a very healthy, happy, active life. So nearly 80% of energy which we possess remains dormant at the base of our Muladhara chakra. So this 80% is the energy that if we want to awaken, then what is the purpose of doing it? If it is just for the objective of achieving certain, let us say, miraculous achievements, if it is just for the sake of proving that one has got a power or strength or energy which can manifest almost miraculous result, if that is our purpose, or is the purpose of experiencing the energy raised to our most highest point of chakras. So when we speak about Kundalini, there are three aspects that are very important. One, what is Kundalini? Why do we want to work upon it? Second, how one can awaken it. Next, what happens when you are in the process of activating that Kundalini Shakti, that dormant Shakti. And that is when you get to know that the point where this energy flow meets in a crisscross manner is the point known as chakra. So that second aspect is chakra. And the flow that happens through the nadis or the tubes known as vital nadis. So the Kundalini chakras and nadis are correlated. Now, I think briefly we spoke about nadis some time ago, that we all have many thousands of nadis or tubes in our body. Now, this is in our gross body, in our physical body. the tubes that one can get the body opened up, and one can find there are estimated 72,000 of nadis throughout our body. 72,000 are the vital nadis, of course. There are many more. The estimate is nearly 350,000 nadis, out of which 72,000 are very active and highest performing nadis, tubes or channels. The prana energy flow through them to energize and sustain all part of our body. So it is all over our body spread. It's like something like, if you can visualize roots of an old tree, and the roots of the old tree are spread, wide and spread, and there are plenty of them. So similarly, our body has these nadis. Now, from 350,000 to 72,000, finally, the saint sages have recognized three nadis, which are very important. And these three nadis are Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna. We have spoken about it, so I'm just going through briefly. Pingla is a Surya Nadi, recognized as a Surya Nadi, and it flows through your right side of nostrils. Ida is our Chandra Nadi, flows through the left nostrils. And Sushumna, which is most important Nadi, which is in the center of these two, which is a balance of our prana. So if you remember, we always check our breathing pattern to realize whether our Surya Nadi or Chandra Nadi, which of these two nadis are more active, and that determines your personality. As I mentioned earlier, that the Surya Nadi is of your right side of your nostrils, but it has effect on our left side of hemisphere. And the Ida, which is on left nostril, works on our right side of brain or right hemisphere. And each represent certain personality traits. So if your left nostril is more active, which means you are right hemisphere is more active, generally the tendency is that you are more affectionate, more, let's say, loving, more empathic, and I wouldn't say more feminine personality, but very emotional. When your Surya Nadi is more active, which is your right side nostrils, which works on your left brain hemisphere, is masculine. Personality develops, you are more practical, you are more rational, and stuff like that. So these are the indications of your personality, that if you are very sensitive by and large, that means your left nostrils is more active and right brain side is more active. That makes you more sentimental, and vice versa. So if your right nostril is more active, which means your left brain hemisphere is active, which makes you more practical, more, let's say, masculine. The balance of both is most important, and that's the purpose of objective of practicing pranayama, that you are inhaling, exhaling equally from both nostrils, which allows your Sushumna Nadi to perform. Now, the origin of this Nadi is at the base of your spinal cord. All three originates at the base of your spine, and the energy flow travels upward. Ida, Pingala, it terminates at your nostrils, whereas Sushumna goes right up to your brain, your skull. So left side and the right side, as I said, has, at this point at the nostril, it crosses upward. Whereas as you go lower your body below the nostril, it is same side. So Ida works on your left side of your body, whereas Pingala works on your right side of the body. But from this point onward, it crosses. So as I was saying, that your left nostril is more active, which means you are more sentimental, but your left side of your body is equally more active. Whereas if your right side Surya Nadi is more performing, your left hemisphere, but your right side of your body is more. So people who suffer the kind of paralytic attack, who gets paralyzed, they to a great extent, it is because of the breathing. Unconsciously, they're breathing at one side of nostril more than the other and not in balance. That could be one of the major reasons of getting this paralytic attack. That is what it is said in our literature. Now, these nadis, Ida, Pigla, and Sushumna, are the tubes or channels that takes your energy flow from base to the higher up. But at the base, which we know all, that Muladhara Chakra, there is a dormant energy. And the reason why it is known as a Kundalini, it means a shape of a serpent. So that energy, which is lying dormant, by practicing certain asanas, pranayama, bandhas, and kriyas, slowly you can activate it. Now, there are two methods. One is to what we follow by doing pranayama, asana, bandhas, kriyas. Gradually, slowly it gets awakened. However, there are other methods also, which is mostly followed by tantric yoga, tantra yoga, which can activate almost instantly. Within a day or two, your physical appearance, your attitude, your personality, your thinking radically changes. Now, most people are not ready to digest that, to manage that. And therefore, it is considered dangerous. So if you are adamant to activate it quickly by following certain tantric yoga, it can be activated. And there are examples of within a short period of 3 or 5 days, people they experience complete different attitude in terms of their outlook, in terms of their thinking, their behavior. So if one wants to do that, one has to be in solitude. You cannot continue your social life, your family life, or your usual lifestyle and pick up the Kundalini yoga, because it can radically change everything about your life, everything. Not only that you cannot manage, but people around you cannot manage you. And I think I mentioned to you sometime that when I was learning it, my friends who were also studying, and they had undergone tragedy because they were adamant, they were young, and they wanted to practice on their own. And one of them committed suicide because he could not manage the power, the energy flow that manifested. He could not resist. He couldn't manage what to do with that amount of energy. And he jumped from the hill. And that's out of 11 of us when we were practicing, and one lost their life. So, of course, there were many problems. There was a police case, etc., because luckily we were able to prove that it was his own behavior and nobody pushed him, etc. So our master who was teaching us finally could managed to save himself. But therefore, this Kundalini Yoga is something that one must not attempt. But if you want to know for the sake of knowing and experiencing it, follow the other method, the method of pranayama, bandhas, and certain asanas and Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is mainly based on your lifestyle, your daily life, starting from the time you wake up to the time you sleep. What kind of thoughts, what kind of emotions, what kind of lifestyle you are following, and how much are you serious about practicing those pranayamas and bandhas every day. Now, by following that, you are slowly activating that dormant energy. You may realize that your attitude, your personality is slowly changing. Things that you considered very important, things that you considered gives you pleasure, slowly you realize that those are superfluous. It does not bring you pleasure. It does not give you everlasting happiness. You start losing the attachments. You start feeling the kind of oneness among everyone. This gradual change of your outlook, your attitude, is the result of the same Kundalini Shakti that is being activated. We do not realize that as we move on, and this is why the yoga is something that has to be taken up as a lifestyle. You cannot just attend a yoga studio 1 hour a day for 3 months or 6 months, and then you think that you are a yoga practitioner. Yes, it is okay if you want to do just for the point of physical well-being, but overall, it is in the lifestyle. And that is how you slowly, gradually, you work on your dormant energy. Now, it is said that one can follow these sadhana practices to activate the 7 chakras, starting from Muladhara right up to Ajna chakra. That is your doing under the guidance of a master. But beyond the Ajna chakra, to move the energy to Srahasrara chakra, there are no methods. There are no prescribed manners in which you could do it. The only way to do it, let it happen. It will happen because if having raised the energy to this point, from this point above, it's supposed to happen by itself. The flow of energy rushes out. And either you have to be completely crazy to let it happen, or you have a tremendous amount of faith in your master who would ask you to jump into what is known as a bottomless pit. It is a bottomless pit. You have no idea what happens beyond that. And that is in yogic language known as a samadhi. You attain the samadhi if that flows beyond this point and to the highest chakra. Now realize when we are talking about chakras, chakras are the point which is where the nadis crisscross. From Muladhara chakra onwards, there are these channels, energy that crisscrosses. At the point where it crisscrosses are the known as chakras, starting from Muladhara to Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi, and Rajana. These are the point where it crisscrosses. And each has its own shape, color, and it has got its own deity, its own what is known as a Bija mantra or a principal chant. And so there is a method on which you can activate it by going into the meditation and work upon the chakras to move the energy. The 7th chakra is not in our body. Now, these chakras are not in physical body except Muladhara. Muladhara chakra is associated with gross body, but all other 5 chakras are in our subtle body. And the 7th chakra, Srahasrara chakra, is just outside our gross body. So it is just above the skull. At that point, it is considered to be just outside your body. And therefore, there's no way you can activate it. It has to flow by itself under the guidance. And the only way is to have a tremendous faith on your master and just do what it says and follow it. And the only way is to stay focused on your Ajna chakra, as in the Dharana and Dhyana, just stay there and let it happen, which is said, the flow of the grace. Now, important thing is that when we start with Muladhara chakra, which is the base, one must know what is the size, shape, and how to activate the Muladhara chakra. So, what in the yogic literature, what it says that we only know about 7 chakras, but actually speaking, in our subtle body, there are 114 chakras. As I said, there are about 300,000 plus nadis. 72,000 are important, but 3 nadis are most important in our gross body. Chakras in our subtle body, about 114, out of which 21 keeps us active, which is about 20%. Yeah, for general well-being of our physical health and mental health, there are only 21 chakras. If they are functioning well, if they are active, that keeps us going. And the 7 chakras are recognized are the crucial or potential point where we can work upon Kundalini. So, yogic literature talks only about this 7 chakra when we talk about Kundalini yoga. Now, how do we activate these chakras? So the base chakra, known as base chakra, is Muladhara chakra. Is there any question anybody is asking? What I heard? Okay. So Muladhara chakra, which is at base level, yeah, it is associated with our gross body. It is there. It is in the form of a small flower. So the shape of this is of kind of a 4 petals. Imagine the flower with petals. It has got 4 petals. Now, remember, the energy in our body is connected to cosmic energy. Now, at the macro level, what is known as the Shakti as energy, is a micro level. It is the same Shakti which is the form of yoni. And at the macro level, what is considered to be Shiva, the giver of the energy, is in our subtle body known as a linga. So it is in this Muladhara chakra or the base chakra, there is a combination of yoni and linga, which is Shakti and Shiva. It is considered that this is the element of this chakra is earth. You remember we have 5 elements. At macro level and micro level, there are 5 elements: earth, water, fire, space, and Akasha. So 5 elements. This chakra element is earth. Earth means most gross form of element. Yeah. All other elements are subtle elements. The earth is solid and it is gross. So the Muladhara is therefore known as the base or gross chakra, because its element is earth. And the shape of that seed or that little thing, which is of 4 petals, the color of it is almost a yellow square. Now, if you look into the internet or on the magazines or books, they project it beautifully shaped, a yellow square, but do not go by that. In our Yoga Shastra, in Upanishad, there is no such mention at all. It only says kind of yellow square is the color of that seed or chakra. The rishis who recommended the certain bij mantra to activate this chakra is Long. So the pronunciation is just one alphabet, Long. The pronunciation is Long. It comes from your base of your throat, Long. So when you are trying to walk upon your Muladhara chakra, and when you are closing your eyes and bringing your focus at that point, there are 3 things to be done. 1, you have to visualize the residing deity of that chakra, which is Brahma. So you have to think of the Brahma, the first manifestation of a human or a man or a energy is Brahma. So the residing deity is Brahma. The mantra is Lam, and your color is kind of a yellow square. So these are the mental. Remember, after all this is to engage your mind. So when you are focusing and working upon Muladhara chakra, your mind has to be totally involved in bringing complete attention to that point. And in order to engage your mind, you need to visualize deity, you need to mentally chant the mantra, and also be aware of the color and the shape of that chakra. So the deity is Brahma, color is yellow square, element is earth. Now, very important, what are the pranayama that one should do in order to work on the Muladhara chakra? The pranayama that is recommended is Bhastrika. Bhastrika that we do is connected to, when you do Kriya Yoga, is connected to Muladhara chakra. So when you want to work upon that point to awaken the Kundalini, remember chakra is only a point where the energy is meeting each other, crisscrossing. So Ida and Pigla, center is Sushumna. So when you are activating those from the base, at certain point it crosses. The point where it crosses becomes a chakra, where it transfers the energy. So when we are talking about Muladhara chakra, is the point where the energy flow meets each other and crosses each other. And in order to activate that, the Bhastrika pranayam is recommended. And if we are following the yogic practice of pranayam of bandhas, which we have tried to do, this is Mula Bandha. If you remember, Mula Bandha are to be done after inhalation. It can also be done after exhalation. So the bandha to be practiced are Mula Bandha. Pranayama recommended is Bhastrika. Chanting is Lam. Mental focus is on the deity, residing deity Brahma, and the color yellow square. Now these are the only, as I mentioned earlier, tools for your mind to get completely involved in what you are doing. Now this is not something that one can do, let's say in a day or 2 or week or 2 weeks. It needs a continuous practice of several months or years in order to just get that basic chakra to be active and the energy flow start moving upward. This is not the extreme Kriya Yoga that I was talking about, which you can, Tantric Yoga, which can manifest quickly. This is the slowest process of activating Kundalini Shakti, and therefore it takes time, and you have to be persistent. Therefore, I was told not to practice individually unless you have learned it and you have understood how to do it. Sorry. I was hoping that sometime when we are all physically together, I will spend one day to practice this Bandha Kriya Yoga or Kundalini Yoga. But through this medium of internet, it is not recommended to practice this Bandhas and Kundalini Yoga. So this is about Muladhara Chakra. Likewise, energy starts moving up if you have been successful of activating that base chakra. The energy flow will move upward. As it moves upward, no one else will get to know, you will realize that your appetite, your sleeping order, your attitude, your outlook to the life, everything changes. You will notice it. And that's a clear indication that your effort is in right direction. You are working on that right manner. It is not for anyone else to judge or decide that you are working on this bandhas and chakra, Kundalini Yoga. It is you who will realize it, because you will notice subtle changes, not much about physical changes, but your mental attitudes and thinking and your behavior will change. Now, the second chakra, energy start moving upward, is Manipura chakra, known as the abode of gems. Abode of gem is Manipura. Now, these are not found in our gross body. This is in our subtle body. So it has shape of 10 petals. Sorry, I jumped it. It's not Manipura. Before Manipura is Swadhisthana chakra. I'm sorry, excuse me. So first Muladhara, above that is Swadhisthana. Now Swadhisthana means a sacral chakra, energy, sacral. So it's associated with the subtle body. Again, it's not in gross body. And the shape is like a crescent moon. You remember crescent moon is the third or fourth day of the full moon calendar, that you have a crescent. So it's that shape of crescent moon. It's got 6 petals. The first one had a 4. This has got a 6 petals flower. And the element is water. The Muladhara was earth. Swadhisthana is water. Color is blue, a blue circle in the shape of a circle. So when you look at any authentic text, it will show you a small chakra, small flower, which has got petals. In the center of those petals, this is kind of a circle. There is a circle in color bluish. And the mantra for this is one alphabet called WAM. WA. So WAM, again pronounced from your base of your throat, BUM, WAM. And the residing deity is Vishnu. And the bandha to be practiced is Udayana Bandha. So Udayana Bandha is recommended to be done after exhalation. After exhalation, the bandha. Now, it is the same as we spoke earlier, that you need to have complete focus on that region of your Swadhisthana chakra, which is just below your navel, just little below navel, is the location of your Swadhisthana chakra. And you need to bring your mind to visualize the shape, the color, the residing deity, and chanting of the principal mantra. Now, this alone again takes time, and you will know that there will. What is the indication that you know that this point, known as chakra, is now activated? You will feel a warmth. You will, if the beginning point is a gentle warmness in that point, in that region, and as you practice it further, there is some amount of heat that you realize, some amount of heat that you feel. Now, for instance, the Swadhisthana chakra, when it is active, it is said that person loses the appetite. It generates heat that can sustain your body, physical body, and mental activity. You do not need to supplement by input of your food, your diet. There, the diet reduces and heat is felt if it is activated. Now this, as all chakra, this all takes time to activate it, depending on individual, how are you committed, how much the effort that you are putting in, and how seriously, with all your heart and mind, you are engaging yourself in following this, your sadhana. So these are the first two chakras, Muladhara and Swadhisthana. Excuse me, I have to open the doors. Excuse me, sorry. Sorry. So we spoke about Muladhara and Swadhisthana, and likewise all other chakras. But I guess this is our time now. So we will continue this subject next week. Meantime, you can think of any questions or anything that you like to clarify. As I said, it's very hard for me to go into detail because it's not easy to describe. You have to be so into it to visualize it. So it will take a little long, but let us get at least some idea about what are we going to follow when we do bandhas and pranayama. So when we do pranayama every day, it's just not the discipline or mindful breathing. It is much more implications. So as I said, asana is just the beginning, pranayama is more important, and the third is dhyana is the ultimate. The pranayama is so important in many other ways as well. So next Thursday again, we will continue beyond Swadhisthana. Let us conclude by offering the prayer. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, God, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, God, for giving us water to drink. Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy. Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us prosperity. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we need. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you, God, for the existence. Thank you for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Acharya ji.
Thank you, Acharya.
Thank you.
Thank you.